Rainbow Six Siege, whether you love it or you hate it. The game has definitely lasted the test of time. It's probably the biggest tactical shooter on the market behind Counter-Strike and Valorant. This game has been going strong for 10 years and probably will for another 10. But let's take it back to 10 years ago. Siege was but a novel attempt to reinvent the Rainbow Six franchise. The game that it was based on, Rainbow Six Patriots, was changed from a controversial political tactical thriller to a multiplayer tactical FPS inspired by SWAT and anti-terror groups in real life. As seen by early trailers, this game was trying to adapt what made people love the series into a more modern multiplayer setting, and it looked like that. The launch product was a bit less grounded than this teaser, but it still mostly stuck to its goals. Well, at least for a good while. However, there's a lot of stuff we do and don't see in game dev that leads to these final products we love. That's why today I have a version of Siege I haven't really seen covered on here before. The closed alpha. I know this is 10 years old at this point, but just to cover my bases, this is for educational purposes only. Go buy the game. It's usually on sale for like $8 anyway. There's a lot in here that I haven't seen, and considering how much I love to look at old versions of games, I think I'm gonna have a good time. So strap into this. Okay, it's not that exciting, but let's still take a look at the Rainbow Six Siege alpha you probably haven't seen. Alright, let's start with some technical stuff before we begin. This alpha was originally online only, so normally I wouldn't be able to play it. However, this copy was modified in some way to allow for me to still play it, which is nice. This is important with some of the stuff we'll see later. Another thing is that this game does not like to play nicely. It is very finicky on running on my PC at least, and tends to bug out if I try to do anything even normal like tabbing out. This also seemed to be built with controllers in mind, considering that the menus had Xbox buttons and the controller layouts were one of the first options in the menus. Multiplayer was grayed out, but clicking custom game let me select custom game or multiplayer. I can't really play LAN right now, so I decided to just go with custom game. The only two maps to choose from were house and plane, with each having 3 modes: rescue hostage 6 rounds, rescue hostage default, and gym game. I decided on the first option with house and saw the intro screen with different team names and early concept art for house. The UI is pretty different, and there were only 6 operators on attack. I wanted to go through all of them, so I decided to play recruit first, which works very similarly to how he worked on launch. The spawns for house also seem mostly the same. I loaded into the drone phase and
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness! Squidward!
yeah, the game is in Fulbright, and I have no idea why or how to fix it. I have no idea if this is something with the mod to play it, or how the closed alpha actually was, or what, but yeah, it looks pretty bad. Droning around seemed to be pretty normal. Honestly, the main difference I noticed was the recruit having the flag of the country you chose. I went in and shot the camera, which I didn't get any points for, so it seems like there wasn't really that much of a point system yet. I breached a garage, even though it was made of metal, but I feel like the more pressing matter is that there's no window barricade. Actually, there's no barricades on any of the doors either. The gunplay and layout on the map seem pretty similar to the game that released, so I don't really have much to note on with that. It is really interesting though that you can vault out of any window, even if it would hurt you. I grabbed the hostage, which seemed to have a different animation, and jumped out the window, which almost killed me, and downed the hostage. I grabbed them again, and the windscreen played when I only got a few steps away from the house. It seems like that was changed to be a bit farther for launch, since this was probably too big of an advantage for the attacking team. After every round, it shows the scoreboard as well, which I don't personally remember. I switched to defense, and I decided to choose Rook, who had a different icon for his ability as well as a big work in progress text on his portrait. I chose the MP5 since the gun seemed to be tan for some reason, as opposed to being black or gray. The sight choices also seem to be the same here. Flashbang warning, but this is what it looked like when I loaded into the game. I placed down my Rook ability, and it seems to work the same as what you would expect. Visually, it changes the armor icon with your health into a green one with an up arrow. The MP5 seemed to work the same as it does in the launch build, so I figured I had nothing left to show at Rook. I then mowed down the hostage, who had a cartoony ragdoll and blood splatter. Then loaded into the other default hostage mode to try that out, and I chose Twitch as my attacker. To my surprise, she actually does her drone phase with a regular drone. And I guess when I was recording this footage, I never tried the Twitch drone, so apologies for that. I spawned in construction and tested out the rappelling, which seems to work the same. However, these windows on house, you can just like vault in, which I don't remember that being there in the final version. I went back to defense to try out Castle, whose UMP is looking quite rough, but he still has the same concept. With a really obnoxious flashing animation, you can choose to either barricade or barricade strong. I tried the normal barricade, which works how you would expect, except when it's broken, it leaves some annoying debris behind. I tried the castle barricade and yeah, that's a castle barricade. The reinforcement walls also look a bit different. I also went outside to test if the defender time limit was there, and it was, so you get marked if you walk outside. However, I realized something insane. You could move the hostage as a defender. This blew my mind because there would be so many strategies you can do with this, both silly and legitimate. However, it would be really hard to balance, so I understand why they got rid of it. I went to go see if the defenders can escort the hostage and purposely lose, and yeah, they can. After that, I tried Ash, who has the R4 Advanced instead of the R4C that she normally has. And then I loaded in and it's called the Remington R4, so who knows. The little outside spot is still here though. Ash's launcher works the same, just without any explosion effect and what seems to be a bigger explosion radius. It was also called the Bonfire Launcher as well. To defense again, I tried out Smoke, who has some more different gun names like the Mac 11. I tried out Smoke's gas canisters, and not only were they like 500 pounds heavier, but I also just couldn't see the gas at all. I'm gonna chop that up to weird graphics things though. I also found a huge hatch that I could reinforce, bigger than any I've seen in the main game. The floor reinforcement was different and looked like I was gazing into the void. I tried the nitrocell on a wall, and the comment I made about explosions being bigger is definitely true. I killed the hostage with a gas canister, which did a funny ragdoll again. The match then ended and prompted me to rate the match 1 through 5 stars, which I assume was mainly a game testing thing more than anything. Considering you're still watching the video, you're probably liking it, so if you want more cool early stuff like this or more Siege content in general, leave a like and a sub. Or don't, I don't know, it's a free world. After this, I went to go try Gym Game, which I had no idea what to expect. I spawned in immediately as Smoke on House at the construction site with no choice of spawn or operator. I walked around looking for the hostage and there was just none there. I had no idea what this mode was for at the time, but thinking about it now in retrospect, I have a guess. This might have been a really early version of some sort of training mode or shooting range where you could just load into a map by yourself or just look around and practice stuff. Or it could be something like Terrorist Hunt without any of the bots. But this is mainly just a guess though. Epilepsy warning real quick, skip 10 seconds ahead if you need. I loaded into hostage on plane and the operator screen was trying to send me alien messages for some reason. I fought through it to select Thatcher and spawn on the wing, which I don't remember being a spawn in the complete map. Once I did though, I found out a scary thing. The operators spawn in when the drones do, and they have no head. Yeah, I'm glad they took this feature out. The bottom floor of the plane seems to be the same, but the walls were covered in placeholder alpha textures. My gun also has yet another different name, being the K33 NATO. Thatcher's ability icon also literally just says EMP. It seems to also work the same. The map is laid out almost identically to the launch version, except the upstairs seems to be a little tighter, as well as there being fences instead of servers. I went to defense and tried out Pulse, whose older operator and gadget icons are pretty cool. I don't have any players to scan, but it does seem like his scanner is a bit more blue, like you would expect from like a thermal cam. I also realized you can stick your nitrocell to the prep phase barriers and they will just stay there. In looking at this, I accidentally walked off the plane and died, which surprisingly didn't end the round. It made me go to the cameras, which were in black and white and in the places you expect, but just had a little bit of a different UI. When the round switched, I chose Sledge and decided to use the drone round to look around at the outside of the plane. Sledge's hammer is a sledgehammer. I don't know what you expect. I went back outside to try and see how far I could run, and pretty quickly I hit an invisible barrier, which sucked. Funny enough though, this does take durability off your hammer, so I just hit it enough to completely run it dry with little fanfare. I then tried out Mute, who despite his MP5K and Mute Jammer being completely pitch black, it worked like you would expect. I didn't think there was much to test with him, but I did find this luggage that I have no idea what it's supposed to be. I went outside one of the upper entrances though, and found a ladder up. There was a way to get in from the top of the back of the server room with a hatch. This was cool in itself, but this gave me the determination to find a way on top of the plane. I tried to vault as much as I could, but I then realized there was no barriers under the guardrails. I could just crawl underneath them. So boom, we were on top of the plane. I didn't spend much time up here since the round ended shortly after, but it was cool. I tried Thermite the next round, who works the same, and also found the little cubby area you can breach into to still be there. Besides that, I didn't really have much else to show. I messed around a little bit on the roof of the plane, but not much else. I wish I could get multiplayer with this, but that's tough for obvious reasons. This game barely boots on my PC, and I would also have to run something like Radmin to get it to work on LAN online. There's definitely things I missed, but I tried my best to get what I could. So, what did we learn today? Games can change a lot, and seeing them when they're still in the oven gives me more appreciation into the process and work it takes to make the games we love. Looking at this stuff is cool, man. The Siege I played today is a lot worse and more jank than the one we got even at launch, so I'm glad we got the product we did. Even if a lot of the stuff they changed was minor, it made the game come together in the right way. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, I would much appreciate it. A special thanks to Cam, Mr. Bungicide, Master Necro, and Nico for supporting me on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links below to that and my Discord if you want to be extra special and help me out even more. My name is Chaos For Real, and I hope we can play the R6 Sigma soon.